The story begins with the Bellamont family, known as the most prestigious noble family in the empire, famously dubbed the Iron-Blooded Duce. Despite the magnificence of the ducal palace, a thunderous cry pierced its silence, for the palace was never free from turmoil and noise. The young red-haired lady, Lucilla Lil Fry, wonders in amazement at the cause of this chaos. The reason for all of this was her dearly beloved nephew Lucien, who was sitting amidst the mess before turning to her with a bright smile. The heir to the Duce, Lucien Bellamont, ran toward her, asking why she was so late in coming. Lucilla looked around at the utter chaos, then firmly asked Lucien if he was the one who did it. While the little one clung to her leg, she resolved within herself that this situation could not be tolerated and that she must scold him properly this time. But before she could begin her reprimand, Lucien beat her to it by calling her auntie, expressing how much he had missed her, and then innocently asked if she had missed him too. In the face of this, her resolve, she hugged him gently and said she had missed him. She even started apologizing for coming late. Suddenly, Lucilla realized she was the one apologizing and almost forgot what had happened. At the last moment, she regained her senses and remembered Lucien's mischief. She looked around the room and saw flowers scattered everywhere. Lucien happily explained that playing with dough was fun and invited her to join him. Lucilla then noticed water splashed across the floor, which made it dangerously slippery. The little boy asked her to put him down because he wanted to show her something. Excitedly, he demonstrated how he could make bird footprints using his palm. Lucilla looked around, wondering where his nanny and the servants were. She soon spotted them standing nearby, looking completely exhausted, as if Lucien's endless energy had drained them. Lucien grew even more excited and suggested that everyone should play with the dough together. His suggestion immediately filled both Lucilla and the servants with panic. To stop Lucien from causing more trouble and becoming disliked by the servants, Lucilla decided to take him outside. She suggested they go and play in the garden instead. However, as she bent down to speak to him, her foot slipped on the wet, flour-covered floor. She suddenly lost her balance and fell. Two servants rushed toward her in shock, ready to help her up and carry her to bed. But Lucilla lay on the floor laughing. Lucien also burst into loud laughter, thinking her fall was very funny and calling her clumsy. As she watched him laugh, Lucilla wondered how she would ever manage to raise such a mischievous child. Her thoughts drifted back 12 years. At that time, she was the second daughter of the Lil Fry family. She lived peacefully with her parents and her older sister. But that peaceful life ended suddenly when her parents died in a tragic carriage accident. After their deaths, her uncle took advantage of the situation and seized the family title he had always wanted. Not satisfied with that, he forced her older sister, the rightful heir, to marry the Duke of Bell. The marriage was unhappy from the start. The Duke already had another lover, leaving her sister trapped in a cold and loveless marriage in the duchy. Even while suffering, her sister worried about leaving Lucilla alone with their cruel uncle. So she made one final request to the Duke. She asked him to allow Lucilla to live with her in the Duke's palace. The Duke coldly agreed and told her to do whatever she wanted. Her sister felt a deep sense of relief. However, he gave one condition: she must never interfere in his affairs or question the people he met. For Lucilla's sake, her sister accepted the painful condition. Lucilla then moved into the Duke's residence. She still remembered meeting her sister again, who happily said they would depend on each other from now on. A few years later, her sister gave birth to Lucien, a child Lucilla treasured deeply. During those joyful days, Lucilla would sit beside her sister while she held baby Lucien, feeling happy whenever he grabbed her hand. Her sister once joked that Lucien seemed to love his aunt very much, but just as their small family started finding happiness again, tragedy struck. Her sister suddenly became terminally ill. Before dying, she asked Lucilla to stay beside Lucien and protect him, apologizing for leaving them behind. After saying those words, her sister passed away, and a grand funeral was held in the ducal palace. Lucilla was supposed to return to her family home afterward. However, while wandering through the palace corridors, she anxiously searched for little Lucian. She found him in a quiet hallway, holding a doll that resembled his mother while silently trying to stop his tears. With trembling eyes, he asked her if she would leave him too. Seeing the child crying alone in the corner, Lucilla could not walk away. She realized that if she left, he would be completely alone in this world. So she decided to stay in the ducal palace. The Duke, who had always been indifferent toward his son, treated Lucilla like nothing more than a nanny. But his indifference allowed her to remain by Lucian's side. Back in the present, Lucilla began losing consciousness after her fall. In that moment, a strange feeling of doubt filled her mind. In her fading awareness, she apologized to her sister's spirit for failing to raise Lucian properly. Because of his behavior, people around him had started avoiding him. Even when she fell, he only laughed like a villain. The word villain Lucian suddenly triggered a memory in her mind. She realized she had seen this story before. At that moment, memories of her past life returned, along with a novel she had once read titled From an Illegitimate Child to the Head of the Family. She finally understood the shocking truth. This world was the setting of that very novel.